Think back to last night. You got into bed and shut your eyes. The very next thing you knew, the room was full of morning light. Somewhere in between, 8 hours simply vanished. Not blurred, not hazy, completely absent. There is no faint version of the night you can call back. One moment you were lying there thinking some random thought. And then nothing, cut to black morning. You do not remember the last thought before your brain checked out. You do not remember your eyes closing for the final time. You do not remember crossing the line between awake and gone. Why? You have done this tens of thousands of times. A third of your entire life spent crossing that line. And every single night, it happens without a trace. To understand why, we have to look at what your brain is actually doing. And it is far more dramatic than falling asleep feels. All day, your brain burns energy and leaves a chemical behind. It builds up like a tab you are not allowed to close until night. The longer you are awake, the more it piles on. And it actively presses down the systems keeping you alert. This is why you feel tired. This is also why coffee works. Coffee just blocks the tired signal. It never adds real energy. You are only stopping your brain from reading how exhausted it is. Meanwhile, your inner clock starts dimming its own wake-up signals. A tiny gland releases the night chemical. Your temperature dips. The whole chemistry tips away from awake and towards sleep. And then when the moment is right, a switch gets flipped. A small cluster of cells begins shutting the wake systems down. The brain quietly talks itself off the ledge of being awake. And here is where the memory piece starts to make sense. Deep in your brain sits a relay station. Its job is to let the world in. Everything you see, hear, and feel passes through it to reach you. It is why you can hear a car go by and know that you heard it. But as you fall asleep, that gate begins to close. The flow of the outside world stops being sent upstairs. Your phone buzzing, the hum of the room, a car passing, all left at the door. And the thinking part of you gets starved of input. Without input, it can no longer write new memories. That is already most of the answer right there. You cannot remember falling asleep. Because falling asleep is your brain dismantling its own recorder. The gate shuts, the thinking part quiets, the memory machine stops. All of it before you are even fully unconscious. It is like filming on a phone whose battery is dying in real time. The last few seconds come out corrupted, not blank because nothing happened. Blank because the equipment gave out mid-recording. But it gets stranger. Your brain does not simply go dark. There is a hidden phase you pass through every night and never notice. The gate is closing but not shut. The mind is not yet asleep. And in that in-between zone, the brain starts inventing things. Little hallucinations, though the word sounds scarier than it is. Geometric patterns drift across your vision. A face flashes, a name is called, a scrap of music plays. And the most famous one of all, the sudden feeling of falling and a violent full-body jerk. Most people feel it, you know the one. You are drifting off, then falling off a ledge that is not there. One idea says your brain misreads your muscles relaxing as a real fall. So it fires an emergency signal. Catch yourself now. Maybe an old reflex from ancestors who slept up in the trees. Back when relaxing your grip really could kill you. The reflex never learned we sleep safely on flat ground now. And here is the twist, even when the jerk wakes you, you still do not remember the strange light show right before it. It already happened, it already slipped away. Within a minute, you drift back into the very same process. And store none of it again every night. Now here is what makes it even harder to hold in your head. Sleep is not a clean line between awake and asleep. Different parts of your brain cross over at different times. This is why nodding off in a boring meeting feels so strange. Part of you is still listening, while another part had already left. So the exact moment you fell asleep is not really one moment. It is a gradual, region by region shutdown. And the part that would record it is the last light to go out. The observer switches off before it can write anything down. Picture filming yourself asleep by holding the camera in your own hand. Eventually the hand relaxes, the camera falls. The last frames are the ceiling spinning away as it hits the floor. Whatever happened at the end was never cleanly caught. And sleep itself does not even want you to keep that footage. Because sleep is, among other things, a memory sorting process. All night, it strengthens some memories and quietly discards others. It is a ruthless editor, keeping only what seems useful. And the dim, drowsy feeling of fading out. No useful information, no emotion, no survival value. So it lands on the cutting room floor every single night. There is a strange, almost philosophical weight to this. It means there is a nightly gap in your own experience. A break in the thread you are completely unaware of. You feel like one continuous person from morning to night. But that thread snaps every night and you never notice. Because the part of you that would notice is the part that goes offline. You are absent for hours every day and feel no absence at all. Because feeling the absence of the self would itself require a self. The ancient Greeks felt something uneasy in this. They made the god of sleep and the god of death twin brothers. Not because sleep is dangerous, because the self quietly stops each night. You go to sleep and in some real sense you pause. And something that feels like you resumes in the morning, with no direct memory of the gap in between. We are fine with this because we wake up feeling like ourselves. The feeling of continuity is preserved, the fact of it is not. So what actually carries through the night, that is the real puzzle. It sounds like homework until you are lying awake at 2 in the morning. There is one more strange layer. Your brain lies about being awake. Some people swear they lay awake all night, hearing every minute. But the brainwave readout says they were asleep the whole time. The machinery can enter sleep while the little narrator keeps talking. We are awake, it insists. We are definitely not asleep. Until even that little narrator quietly sets the microphone down. The running commentary ends, and no one is left inside to notice. Because you are asleep, so here is the whole picture at last. A cascade of chemistry tips you away from being awake. The wake system flips toward off, the gate closes on the world. The memory machine stops encoding, and the executive self powers down. Somewhere in there, the one who could remember it stops existing. Before the experience is even fully over, the whole performance plays out with no audience. Because the audience is also the performer, and also the one falling asleep. Every night in a real sense you vanish. And you are okay with it, because you always come back. Your brain made this deal a long time ago. A few hours of absence in exchange for a repaired working you. Memory of the crossing was simply never part of the bargain. And honestly, given how strange that crossing really is. The geometry, the phantom ledge, the slow shutdown of your own mind. Maybe it is a kindness that you do not have to remember it. You would never get any rest if you did. If this made the ordinary act of drifting off feel a little stranger, stay with us. Subscribe, and the next quiet question will find you when it is ready. And share it with the person you fall asleep beside every night. You will fall asleep thousands more times in your life. You will never once remember the moment it happens. And somehow quietly that is completely fine.